So now we are going to control this MongoDB application. So let's get started over here. So first thing, we are going to create a file over here. It's known as a Docker file. Okay. And then we are going to choose a base image over here. Okay. So what will be the base image? As you know, it's going to be Python. Okay. So Python and colon latest. Okay. So you can use the different type of image over here, like the Python 3 and the Python as well. So I'm just using the Python latest one. So it's going to install the latest Python image. Then we are going to set over here the working directory. So for that, we are going to use work dir, and I just want to put this application in the my app. Okay. So once you set the working directory, then we are going to copy the requirement.txt file, because as I mentioned you, so using the requirement.txt, you can be able to install all the dependencies of this application. Okay. So we are going to copy first the requirement.txt file over here. So we have this. So shall I have to copy the name? Okay. So requirement.txt, and it's going to paste in the working directory. So then we are going to run this command. So let me show you. So this is the command, like pip install -r requirement.txt. So I'm just going to copy this command, and I just use the run command over here. I'm going to paste this command as well. So we might be thinking why we are not using the pip3 over here. Okay. So you can use the pip install -r directly if you have the latest Python image. So I have tested out with this Python image, and it's run without the pip3. So you can directly use this command like pip install -r. Okay. If you have to choose the specific image, so in that case you have to use the pip3. But with this image, I can able to run this command like pip install -r requirement.txt. Okay. So in my system, I have this. Let me close this application. So I have this pip-v. Okay. So not the pip-v, pip-3-v. Okay. So I have this pip3 installed into my system. But with this image, you can directly run this command. Okay. So I hope you all get the clear idea. So it's totally depend on the image. So which type of image you are choosing it. Okay. So once you install all the dependencies, then we are going to copy this file, the app.py, and without that we cannot able to run the application. So hence we are going to copy this app.py, and it's going to paste in the working directory. So I am using again a dot over here. So once you copy app.py, then for starting the application, we need a command over here. So this is the command, the python app.py. So for that, I am using the cmd over here, cmd, and I just use python, then comma, and in the second string I'm just using app.py. Okay. And just we are going to save this file. Okay. So let me revise all the things once again. So as you can see that we choose the base image over here like Python, then we set the working directory, then we copy the requirement.txt in the working directory, then we run this command. Okay. So it's going to install all the dependencies. So then we copy this file app.py in the working directory, then we start the application using the Python app.py. Okay. So everything is nice. So just save this file. So I hope all the things are cleared up. So let's build this image, and let's try to run this one. Okay. And again, we are using the docker build and -t over here, and I'm just going to tag Rohit Marathe and python-docker. Then I'm using dot for the docker file is available in the current directory, and within a second it's going to build the docker image for us. So as you can see that we have successfully built the image. So let's run this application. So I'm just going to use docker run -p for port mapping, and I just want to access the application from my port 80, and colon the container port is 80, because this application is run on the port 80. Then I'm just going to mention my image name over here. So I have copied one. Okay. And if you run this one, so it is not going to run this application. So as you can see that we got this error like localhost :27017. Then we have the connection refuse, and again we have this connection refuse and the local host. Okay. So what does this mean? So let me show you. So first thing, so we just copy this port and let's search on the Google. So port used for, okay. So as you can see that this port 20017 is used for MongoDB server. And one thing I have to show you. So we write this Docker file, and if you open the app.py, so as I mentioned, this application is connected with backend using the MongoDB. So once you run the application, so it's going to set a connection. So if you don't have MongoDB into a system, so it's not going to connect that one. So let's suppose if you run this application locally, so you must need MongoDB. and the same thing is also apply for our Docker file as well. So in our case, what we have done, we use the Python image, but our application need MongoDB to be run. But what we have done, we use the Python image, but we don't have any MongoDB image for running this application. So shall I have to create another file for the MongoDB? So answer is no, because if you created the separate Docker file, so it's going to run the separate container, and both containers are going to run separately and they don't have any directly connection. And for such scenario, if you want to run 2 or more containers and is your application is dependent on multiple images or multiple things, and for that such case we use the Docker Compose. So in the next video we are going to learn about what is the Docker Compose and how we are going to run multiple Docker container using the single Docker Compose file.